Oh man, they don't make them like this no more. They got. What? Shut the fuck up. Look at my D-Dog, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Just a moment of silence for we here assembled, please.
What?
Like, I think if you downgraded your complaining to maybe like once every 5 minutes, that might actually make this evening pleasant.
Okay, but I'm starting my stopwatch, and every 5 minutes, I'm gonna complain about something, baby.
One pass and then you're on your own.
The fuck was that?
What the fuck?
Tony?
Eh? Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like Tony's not allowed to speak right now. May I take a message for you?
Right, I'll go and have a look then. Fuck's sake.
You know it. Yeah. Yeah, you go do that. I'm gonna change the channel on this thing. Oh my god, that bird stole that man's sazish.
Oh, for fuck's sake, somebody check the fuse box.
It's just another poor, miserable, suffering son of a bitch.
Oh, there we go.
Just like you and me.
Except he smells worse.
And he's crazy. Knock off the shit!
What is this? Lost in Space? Oh yeah, this one.
Only another word.
I'm more of an aliens guy myself, you know? However I do say I prefer the first one whenever I'm talking to a chick or something. Makes me sound more intelligent, you know what I mean?
Now.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Toughest son of a bitch in the Alien franchise. My boy Dylan, straight up beating the fuck out of an alien. Go, Dylan. Go. Knock him the fuck out.
That's a weird coincidence.
Who's a weird coincidence?
Well, you're watching Alien 3, and I've just found that on the floor in the other room.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's a sign.
Yeah?
Maybe it's a sign that you should shut the fuck up. Go paint that model so me and Hector can go back to watching this movie.
Yeah, alright.
Where you go?
So I picked up this model kit last year, the middle of last year, when I was honeymooning out in Japan. The Halcyon model kits, despite being British made, were mostly popular in Japan. And as a result, they were on my absolute hit list for all the second-hand shops that I was going to go to in Japan, basically. I also picked up this Lance Henriksen doll. Vaguely aliens tangential a word. And you know, whenever I actually see something so aggressively niche and specific to me in a shop, sometimes I just have to get it before I leave. And this is obscenely specific because it's not Millennium Frank Black played by Lance Henriksen. It's that one episode of the X-Files he was in called Millennium, playing the same character. Oh boy, this is who we are. But anyway, yeah, I also found the 3 Halcyon kits, the Alien Warrior, the Power Loader, and this charming character in 1-to-1 scale, apparently. I guess that might be 1-to-1 scale, factoring in that it came out of a dog, but in the version of the film where it comes out of a dog, you never actually see it. So, kind of technically, maybe this isn't 1-to-1 scale at all. Cool, so let's put this guy together, let's paint him up, and let's put some realistic afterbirth on there. Okie dokie, let's get this box cracked and see what's inside. Oh wow. It looks somewhere between a medical dummy and like a dismembered haunted doll or something. At least the details are really nice. And then it kind of dawned on me, like, how the fuck was this actually made? Like, did they cast this thing? Some kind of sofa bay material that cures hard, or some kind of vacuum form thing? No idea. Let me know in the comments if you know. Also quickly dawned on me that we're going to have to upgrade to the saw to get this done before the night is over. And additional note, it doesn't seem to like Tamiya plastic cement, so it's straight to the super glue. What actually is this thing made of? Well, that is something. Pretty grim, it's pretty gross, and the fleshy colours are just really off-putting. It's got kind of old lady human hands as well, which is a little bit freaky. But it is built. It was a faff to build. It wasn't great. I'm going to have to put some milliput in the joints to shore it up and, plug some gaps. Next step is to paint it, and then later on I'm going to put some realistic 3D afterbirth shit on there. It doesn't come with the base either, so I'm going to go and print me a base for it. 25 by 38 centimeters, I think, rectangle. Yeah? Okay.
What's up, guys? Tony D here. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I just smashed Apollo al Pomodoro, and I am fired up and ready to go. I'm clucking crazy. And I'm here to talk to you about... I'm here to talk to you about the Squarespace, guys. Ever thought to yourself, man, I'm such a good chef, but I ain't got no website to tell people what kind of a good chef I am. Me neither, but there's probably one of you out there. Well, now you can, with Squarespace's boundless supply of templates locked and loaded to get you started. That's right, you can pull together a website using templates for portfolios, blogs, vlogs, music, and even recipe pages in just a few minutes. Squarespace cooking with that special sauce. And on top of that, world-class 24-hour customer support means that if you've got an issue, Squarespace is cooking up the answers in the kitchen right away. Squarespace got the steak and the sizzle. Steak and sizzle! What's that? But that's not all there is to it, guys. Oh no. Squarespace also got templates for restaurants. So if you want to go ahead and get all your food hygiene qualifications real quick, just like that, Squarespace gives you the power to make the magic happen with a web page with menus and contact info for your restaurant, guys. And last but not least, every dish gotta have a signature name, and so does every website. So head on over to the domain acquisition tab, type in the name you want to give your website, and immediately link the page and to the rest of the world. It's just that easy, guys. Squarespace got steak, sizzle, and seasoning. So come on down to the Squarespace steak website and emporium at squarespace.com/MSPaints and use the code MSPaints at checkout to save yourself 10% off your first website subscription or domain. Sizzle! You can take a bite of that steak.
Okay, so based on how this was cast, it is a miracle that it fit together as clean as it did. There's a lot of milliputting to do, which is fine. I'm not going to show all of that because there was a lot of it. So I am busting out this Air Goo and Fengda airbrush and tank combo that was sent to me. I don't know much of anything about airbrush pumps, but I do have experience with the Fengda airbrushes, and they're just cheap and cheerful, super reliable workforces, really. In terms of skin tone for this little guy, I tried and tested a bunch of inks and speed paints over Wraithbone spray, and eventually I settled on a base coat of peachy flesh, followed by a pastel yellow. Both of those are speed paints. The peachy flesh was a real unsettling, uncanny kind of thing, and I liked it. But the pastel yellow on top, you get a patchy inconsistency which feels more organic and takes closer to the on-screen colours that we want. A gentle dusting with a dry brush using Vallejo Pale Sand on the harder edges finishes off the base coat quite nicely. When it comes to covering large surface areas like this and not wanting to ruin our nice skin tone with too much filtering and tint, we need to go with an enamel wash basically. This wash, once dry, will tint recesses rather than pulling in them, so we're never really moving too far away from the great skin tone that we already have. And anywhere where the tint is a little bit too much or it's gone kind of dirty and crusty, just a makeup sponge and white spirit is going to roll all that off real gentle like. Now seems as good a time as any to talk about why Alien 3 is my favourite film in the Alien franchise. It's never a good time to talk about Alien 3, but it is probably the only time that I will get. The film does get a lot of heat, and that is mostly by people that saw the theatrical cut when it came out or saw the theatrical cut on the streaming services it's available on. Yeah, that is a way to watch it. Unfortunately, the theatrical cut is kind of dog shit, no pun intended. And because it is completely different to Aliens, it kind of goes back to the original Alien and just does the old dark house in space thing, although this one it's not really in space, it's just the old dark monastery. Don't get me wrong, Aliens is basically a perfect movie. I can't overstate actually how good that movie is. And no matter which cut we actually watch of Alien 3, it is a completely miserable experience. At least compared to what came right before it. After our 4 survivors escape the horrors of Aliens from 1986, directed by James Cameron, everything looks pretty rosy with some happy JRPG sleeping at the inn style music. Everything is pretty chill at the end of Aliens, it's alright. Ripley got a really dull husband and an annoying daughter, and then they got Bishop in a doggy bag to take home with them. That is all completely fine and lovely, but then Alien 3 comes along, and Alien 3 is like, nah. Nah, man. And the movie opens with Ripley literally basically being shat into the worst corner of the galaxy, Hartlepool Docks. Hicks and Newt, her adoptive husband and child respectively, get all kinds of messed up and die. And it turns out the indigenous population are all double wide chromo, old-time religion murderers on a penal colony. Yeah, that's the first 5 minutes, maybe even the first 3 minutes. Yeah, everyone was hyped for another Aliens Fun Times action flick with Action Man and Quippy Kid and Funny Man. But fuck that. Kid's drowned and he's been fucking impaled in his sleep and his teeth have literally gone everywhere. But also, those first 3 to 5 minutes, as soul-crushing and as gut-wrenching as they are unbelievably beautiful. Like, I come from a film scoring and sound design background, and this shit is almost high art pornography to me. It's genuinely insane how good this is. And I watched it again recently with a better understanding of visuals and camera. And this movie it's still stunning across the board. Yeah, it's ultimately a work of art, or an attempted work of art. Like, it's not a great film, don't get me wrong. But it is art. Almost like art for art's sake. I think that's where the main clash comes, is directors trying to make art, studios trying to make a movie. Yeah, sure, Hicks and Newt are dead, but their only role in Aliens was cardboard cutout totems for the Ripley character. To build that Jim Cameron nuclear family dynamic that he loves to play around with in this and his other films, which is great, you know. Aliens is pretty much the perfect film, partly because of the way that he constructs these relationships and uses disposable totems to grow and enrich the lead character. You know, the problem with that is that kind of side characters, especially when they're used as totems for the main character, they have a purpose. They are there solely to perpetuate main character growth and development and give them something to bounce off and react to, and which means if you want those characters to be there to make your main character feel good and develop and grow, they also sometimes have to die or do bad things if you want your main character to develop and grow. Like, she's got her family, she's rebuilt that, it's that thing that she wanted, she has it at the end of Aliens. What exactly do you do with a character other than take the family away? Don't get me wrong, you could do another film with all three of them in, Bishop and his doggy bag as well. But in terms of growing a character, what do you do with that? I mean, there's definitely things you could do if you really thought and tried hard about it. But Hicks and Newt have been dead to me since I was like 7, so I'm over it. I'm okay. Yeah, drown them, crush them. I'm not going to tell you how the film ends, because you still may not have seen it. Ripley does die though, and our sole survivor of the movie is Morse.
Come on, you, get going. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, out of Kane, Ash, Bishop, Newt, Drake, Apone, Captain Hollister, Dylan, and even fucking Ripley, the sole survivor at the very end of the franchise was Morse.
Fuck!
I like Morse. That, to me, is the Alien universe. The Alien universe, and the Alien doesn't care that you just heard Charles Dance do a monologue and let you into his character and understand his character better and emotionally bond with him. The Alien doesn't give a fuck about that. And that is probably like some of the 900 reasons why Alien 3 is my favourite Alien film. Probably also one of the best film scores of all time. Yeah. So if you can, I would say check out the assembly cut wherever you can find it. It's included in most of the box sets now. The one on Disney Plus is the theatrical cut. Anyway, I should probably go and do something more productive than just sitting here and wanking off Alien 3, really.
Hey, keep it down over there, huh?
You okay, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I just watched that miserable movie you're talking about. Now I'm watching Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, mate, absolutely classic. Are you gonna sit there all night and just marathon monster movies?
Huh? Nah, fuck that. I just popped 3 Valiums. I'll be out for the count in a few minutes.
Jesus Christ, man.
Hey, do me a favor. Wake me up if anything happens, alright?
I mean, I'll try.
Don't try too hard.
So, Health and Safety Frog Hector managed to print me 2 smaller bases rather than 1 big one, but I suppose we can work with this. First off, we're going to coat it with a load of different metallic paints. And before these really, really, really thick layers of paint have had time to dry, we're going to smash a stencil on there to really, really, really ruin all that good stuff we've got going on. Impatience is its own virtue, I guess. Fuck's sake. And while not necessarily fixing the 2 bases glued together issue, We're going to make something out of it by adding a welding point. Just a big old ghetto prison double wide chromo welding point. So after sponging on some dirt, we go a little bit too heavy with the dirty down rust, which, while being, magic in a bottle, is certainly one of the most unpredictable hobby products that we have available to us. In this case, it reactivated but ended up breaking down and leaving green greasy smears instead of lovely complex rust tones. But I guess we'll fix that shortly. I've got a nice selection of these MIG ammo washes and shades that shoot through the airbrush real nice. And we're going to use them to shade and tone some of that metal down a bit and bring all of our weird and wonderful colours together. And also reintroduce some contrast. Oh, and also return our rust patches to a more standard orange oxide look. And as a last touch, mashing in some dark rust oxide weathering powder, just going full ham hock with it. Yeah, this is certainly a selection of products used on a base. Yeah.
So you may have noticed in some of these shots that I'm using of Alien 3, the alien looks a little bit bollocks. And a lot of the time, the alien in the film is referred to as a CGI alien. But this movie is from 1992, and if this was a CGI alien in 1992, this is pre-Jurassic Park, this film probably would have changed VFX, forever. If this was CGI. What this actually is a poorly comped puppet. From behind the scenes footage, you can tell it's a puppet shot against a blue screen because, green screen doesn't exist yet. And they've shot it with a weird green light on it for some reason, which is why there's a green hue across nearly all of the VFX shot. And it also looks really, really fucking sharp, which I think is a side effect of shooting with an overcranked shutter to try and prevent losing bits of the alien with motion blur, which they do anyway, but yeah, the whole thing looks really, really green and really sharp and has a weird, really solid black matte line around it. Also, it's a little bit Ray Harryhausen, which is not much of an issue, but also it just looks bad. So I've decided I'm going to take a little swing at not fixing, but improving these VFX shots. And by me, I mean getting someone way more qualified to do this than me. Introducing Shotty. Shotty is one of those annoying twats that's pretty good at a bit of everything. So I'm going to set him to task of improving, not necessarily fixing, improving these VFX shots with modern day tech, and he's got a day to do it. Okay, so this is assembly cut, and it's all puppetry. Right. Despite how it looks. I don't think you've seen these clips before.
I've not seen any of these.
Okay. 5 guys with rods controlling this little dude.
Okay, yeah.
And the guys are then comped out.
Right,
so this one is on location. How fucking weird is that?
That's very strange. Oh.
It's really weird.
It's got a weird little blue hue, doesn't it? When you go right to the end, where it's just about to leave, it just goes completely blue.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
That is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is their third attempt at fixing this.
Just don't make it blue.
just swap that out, man. Just drag and drop a tint effect on there.
Yeah.
So that's one of your choices.
Yeah.
It would be nice if you could do that, because that's the model we're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you can tell just there where they've tried to match the camera movements with the 2 takes.
Yeah.
And he just slips a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
This one.
Oh, man.
But then you get that, which everyone knows that image.
Yeah. It's almost just not the colour's just off, isn't it? And you've got that like little fringe around it as well.
Yeah. It's that weirdly green fringe.
I think also it's just too sharp. I think it just needs a bit of like
perspective softening.
fall off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think softening the dark edge.
yeah, at the top would do
It's
a
going
lot
to take
already.
you a long way.
Yeah.
The highlights seem to match.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's probably a bit too much. But he's a slippery, sloppy boy,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like it's just the contrast feels really off.
Yes.
Because like if you go back a bit more, it just feels too dark for what.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the third essential one I want you to do.
Okay.
Because this is the most fucking egregious.
The biggest crime.
I think the biggest crime. Everything else they've had a real good go.
Yeah.
But this one is like, guys. So not bad. Okay.
Jesus. Oh my days.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably is actually a fairly simple fix, I think.
I thought it might be. That's
So I think all you need to do is take out that fucking green and
Yeah.
then just crush that
Yeah,
down to
yeah.
be, well, black, not a weird.
grey.
That's fucking horrendous.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
So there's baby running away from the ox.
Mm-hmm.
There's alien running up to her, and then here kitty on the ceiling.
Yeah, kitty.
Here kitty.
Sweet.
If you do those three first,
Yeah.
because we're on limited time,
Yeah.
then the others at your leisure. If you want to pleasantly surprise us by doing them all, that'd be good. They don't need to be perfect, they just need to be better than that.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Sweet. Cool. I'll crack on then.
Handsome stuff. Excellent.
Wee wee.
While Shotty be doing that, I have one last thing to do on our Dogburster alien, which is to give him some realistic afterbirth. If you're a fan of the channel, you've seen me use this stuff before on the Gaping Dragon. This is Uhu Clear Glue. And Spike does not want to eat his Uhu slot today. This is only my second time using this stuff, but there's a golden hour period when to apply it. Around 10 minutes after coming out of the tube seems to be the point where it can start to hold its own weight and do some weird stuff. And that's when you start to get cool dribble and drool effects. And rather than applying clear layers and then painting them afterwards, we're going to mix in some blood for the blood god effect paint and then slap it on. Once it's on, just work it. It will start to turn and get chunkier and stickier, and this is when the streaks and horrible textures come out. Really, really foul stuff. It is legit as simple as this. You can do more, but why do more when less has worked just fine? Before we wrap up and see the final B-roll of how Spike turned out, Shotty's had a day to do his work, so let's see how he got on with those VFX. So, I was editing yesterday, the little thing we recorded last time.
Yeah.
And you said the ceiling shot with the flare would have been the easiest shot to do. How was that?
Not the easiest shot. Yeah, none of them were actually as easy as I thought. Even the one where I was like, oh, just add a bit of motion blur there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I didn't really account for is how bad some of the comping is. So there's a lot of clips where it's moving and just bits of it disappear.
Yes. Yeah. That's a side effect of moving a small puppet on a blue screen really fast.
Exactly, yeah.
Like the motion blur gets meshed with the blue background.
Exactly.
And the whole thing just disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were working with MP4s as well, which
Yeah.
you push it to a point and then stuff just
Doesn't do anything.
doesn't do anything. It just becomes noise and guff. So
Yeah.
this one was the least offensive for the most
Yeah,
part.
this one was like pretty good. I mean,
The main thing is that weird blue cast, which is
but yeah, this one was, like you said, it's the green cast, and I made it a little bit darker.
Yeah.
So that as it's going towards the light, it doesn't become lighter, like it gets more silhouette-y.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
better.
Yeah, not hugely different, just a bit darker.
I think there you've run into the issue where there is
Yeah.
no information to glean from it.
Yeah, exactly.
The iconic shot of the franchise.
I think this actually turns out probably the best out of all of them,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay, so this is the original.
Yeah,
And then yours?
yeah.
Oh,
So I think it's a lot better. I did add,
I think that is better.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was mainly trying to add. I added a bit more fake depth because it's all quite sharp all the way
Yes.
through. So I tried to have like where the front of the face of the alien is and her head, have that on a different focus plane,
Yeah,
so that everything else kind of falls off a bit more. And then I added that light shaft in the background.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to try, because there's quite a harsh outline on the alien head.
Yeah.
So just having that light behind it motivates it a little bit more.
It should be like a sheer reflection, but that is as bright as that.
Yeah.
And that feels off. Whereas now the light is brighter.
Yeah. And the reflection's a bit.
The reflection's a bit dimmer, yeah. No, that works a lot better, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the one.
So this is the OG.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting you to perform miracles with this one. Because again, there's just so little information in this.
So that, yeah.
Green!
So much green.
Yeah, let's watch yours and then you can tell me all about how
Tell me
different.
all my theory.
Oh, yeah, okay. Straight into that shot, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Original. Rough as ass.
We.
And the shotty cut.
So it's still reasonably rough, but
Yeah.
my thinking was the main issue with the original clip, I think, is that you have this bright light come in,
Yeah.
and then everything else kind of lifts with it. Whereas, really, I mean, based on how hard the shadows are that they put below it, everything else should become a lot darker. So I've
Yes.
kind of tried to crush everything a bit more.
Yeah.
And then I also added more light to cover some of the shadow at the front.
Yeah, to make the challenge work, you've had to basically add light values and dark values that you
Yeah.
could then control afterwards.
Exactly. As a clip, I think it's less distracting. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, it takes me out of it less, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're focused more on where the light's going rather than on
Yeah.
what's going up there with the shadows.
The action rather than the faults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many good shots in that film as well. Like it's actually got some really, really beautiful cinematography in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the whole thing, I highly encourage
Yeah,
it.
I need to.
It's definitely, you're seeing the birth of David Fincher, essentially. Not his actual physical birth, that would be a bit gross, but there is a physical
Just at
birth
the
in the
end.
film. It's worth a go.
Yeah.
It's worth a go.
Just in time for Halloween, you know?
Yeah. I think I might watch it on Halloween. We talked about VFX in more depth, but like a lot of the stuff in this video, it had to get the chop for time constraints. So if you want to see the full version of these sequences and the chat about them, they will be available on the MS Paint Patreon next week. I think Spike turned out pretty well in the end. He's a rather uncomplicated good boy to paint, but with him being one-to-one scale, he presents a new kind of challenge, which is understanding when enough is enough. He doesn't need the same kind of approach as a scale model, he needs the approach of a movie prop. base was the perfect example of trying too hard and doing too many things when it just didn't really need all that. It needed physical boot prints, and it needed rubbing in some mud outside, rather than the usual tricks that I would try for scale models. But all in all, I'm happy that I got to do something this special and unique. So thank you to my wonderful Patreon community for making this video possible. Without your support, really niche non-Warhammer projects like this just don't get to happen as often as they should. With all that said, I think it's time to chill out and enjoy the rest of my Halloween.
Go and nip upstairs and make some mac and cheese, mate, alright?
What the fuck?